technically, I don't. I try not to classify Steve Rogers with powers, but he's at peak human capacity, where he's at the full potential of a human. So his speed and agility and strength is as more than a normal human is, you know. Uh, but in terms of that, we also take the heroes that use technology as their means to defend against evil. And I think we're going to come back with this. This is supposed to be just a two-parter, but I'm going to come back with another one. It's getting really good, people, so we'll be back. Okay, guys, we're back, and we're here to talk about, we left off with, we talked about the non-powered heroes and how they need to step their game up a little more, not to really impress their superpowered teammates, but more just to carry their own weight. But now we're talking about heroes that use technology as their means to defend against evil and stuff. And I think Deadpool's going to stay out of this one because he says Zip has more characteristics in this forte. So, Victor, technology with heroes, how does that feel? How do you like that?
Well, I think the most important thing on being on a team, even if you're powered or superpowered, is balance. You know, you don't want to have too many characters that are powered and too many characters that are non-powered. I think it's good to balance it out. And as far as characters with technology, like, you know, Tony Stark and whatnot, and Reed Richards, and I mean, even though Reed has superpowers, but he's basically more of a technology guy. And I think sometimes with those characters, they can get too reliant on their technology. They're like, no, we got to use science. Science is the key to everything, but they're not willing to accept that, hey, okay, we can use all these other things as well, like, magic. And some characters that, are into science, they don't even believe in magic. Like they did that episode.
There you go. See, Justice. That's it right there. I was hoping you said that.
Young Justice, where they just did it with Wally.
Exactly.
Everything science, screw the magic. But he was proven wrong.
Exactly. Young Justice, last episode, Wally did not want to accept magic. And because in some way we live in a world where almost science can explain everything. And when heroes like that come along that use technology and feel that they're what they call the futurists. They're always looking ahead. And Tony Stark is a prime example of that. You can say Steel, John Henry Irons, is like that as well. You know, he's always looking ahead, trying to improve his armor as well. But John Henry, I when I put him and Tony together, I think Tony has a little more oomph over John Henry Irons in terms of the technology, because while Tony is called Iron Man, his suit is not iron. It's not really iron, because if it was iron based, all his villains would have been killed him by now. You know, he always has to step his armor up. While John Henry Irons, it's not all iron, guys. It is maybe steel alloy, titanium. But his iron can still get crumbled. That's why he carries that big hammer as well. And I think T wanted to say something. Is there something you wanted to say, T?
Yeah, it was about the thing about, Wally and being a futurist and all that. And I'm like, it was kind of weird outside of Wally's character, but on the other hand, it's like everything can be proved with science. And when you look at a character like Iron Man or Steel, they're willing to acknowledge, hey, that they're futurists, but I'm like, there's something higher above. Like, Iron Man, Tony works with the god of thunder on a daily basis, so.
True. It always amazes me, guys, when you got these characters that are futurists, but they're working with characters that are godlike or magic-based, and you look at that and you're like, how can you say that when you're working with this guy right here? and he's either in the mystic arts or something like that, you know. So it is funny to see that, guys. In terms of a hero, like they'll look at that like, well, they're out in, they're not real. They're inside a character. It's like how I talked about, guys, Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific is what you call atheist, and he does not believe in God or things like that. Just higher power. But here he is working on the JSA with or battling beings of higher power. If it wasn't for the Spectre, who is a huge higher power in the DC universe, he wouldn't have become the second Mr. Terrific. Michael Holt, I'm talking about, wouldn't have become the second Mr. Terrific as we see today. So it really kind of throws you out of perspective. Like, how can you be like that if you got all these godlike or higher powered people that roam in your universe? You take characters like I'll say Spawn, for example. His powers are more like darkness, but it still came kind of from a divine power, even though I won't call Melboja divine, but it is pretty much, extraordinary, supernatural. Jackie Espedito, the darkness is of supernatural power, and it's a shame that if he has sex, he'll die, and the darkness power will go on to somebody else.
And this is why I always say, when people ask me, do you want to use the darkness, I'll be like, hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have a power that is only meant for women to use, the Witchblade. Sarah Pazzini and I'm forgetting the other Witchblade right now. Danielle, thank you. The Witchblade is only used for female, even though Ian Nottingham used it once. He used it once, but it is meant for women. Women from Joan of Arc to there's just so many women of the past that have used the Witchblade, and that is of divine power. It is supernatural, and heroes like that also intrigue me, where the power is passed down, or even the code name is passed down. Like I talked about before, Shadowhawk. That power has been passed down from a hero to another hero every century. Witchblade, the same thing. Jackie Espedito, same thing. Before he had it, I believe it was his father that had it before him, and things like that. But other than that, there are other heroes outside of the comics that dwell on that as well. Who can I think of outside of? You kind of could say He-Man, because they kind of pronounce that when he says the Grayskull, there was a king named Grayskull that was pretty much like He-Man, had a giant cat like He-Man, and it was powerful like him. So kind of you can see where you can see the characteristics. His legacy was passed down. Blue Beetle. There have been so many different Blue Beetles, and I hate to say it, but yes, Jamie Reyes is dead now, and I hate the fact that he's dead now by the same person that killed Ted Kord, Maxwell Lord, and it's like, what,
It's like, I'm sorry to interrupt, dude.
Go ahead, hit it.
It pisses me off to no end that the Blue Beetle, that legacy is cursed, because all three of them, Dan Garrett, am I saying it right? The first Blue Beetle, Dale Garrett.
Dan Garrett. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dan Garrett, Ted Kord, and now Jaime, or Jamie, or however the hell you say his name.
Yeah. I never. Some people say it's pronounced Jaime, but I always say Jamie. Well, keep going.
I tell you, the Blue Beetle, the title of the Blue Beetle is freaking cursed, because you ain't gonna last long as the Blue Beetle.
Exactly. I mean, there's only been two Mr. Terrifics. There's two Wildcats, but the other Wildcat is his son, Bronson, but he's like a werecat. He's a metahuman. There's now like 3 Batman. Well, there used to be only one Batman, but now look, there's all these different Batmans.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm
another
sorry.
thing. That's another thing, guys. It's like in the DC universe, there seems to be the tradition of. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in the Marvel universe either, but we see it more in the DC universe that the legacy of a name is passed down more. And I think Victor had something to talk about, so hit it, V.
Hey, I was just gonna say with the whole legacy thing, it all comes with risk. And the thing I like about heroes is they're willing to put themselves before everyone else. I mean, in this business of the superhero business, you can die at any moment. I always say, you know what? If you look at superheroes, they're just like policemen or firemen. You never know a policeman or fireman are going to make it home. And the same with heroes. And when they take people in, you know, they often ask, you know what you're getting yourself into? I got to train you first because you can't just go out there and start fighting villains because at any moment in time, no matter how powerful or how smart you are or how much magic you know, you can be taken out. So it all, you know, just it's all about just putting yourself before, putting, you know, the people before yourself. Because, you know, that's part of being a superhero.
True, exactly. These men and women, you know, do put themselves before, and there are some that have kids, and you know they still do their job because, in a sense, they feel that I hate to use it, but that whole saying, "With great power comes great responsibility," is true, reminiscent of any hero. It's not just Spider-Man. It goes without saying for any hero. Now there have been some heroes that have said screw that and you know go on the other path of being a villain, but you know Victor's right. You know these guys are self-sacrificing individuals that you know no matter what, just like any police officer or soldier or firefighter, you know they don't know if they're gonna come home, you know, the next day, you know, but they do it anyway. Why? Because that's the code of a hero. That's all I can say about that. It's the code of a hero. You know, you got anything to say about that, T?
Well, yeah. There's when you say that, there's two different other types of like what you said about Victor and you said about the heroes. Like you know, they're not a majority of them. Like 90% of heroes aren't looking for you know money or gratification. They're like you know, as long as the people are safe, this is why I do my job. Or you know, there's the other half of the heroes, like you know. I guess you could say like the Secret Six in a way, or you know, or Booster Gold at one time because I'm a
yeah, you gotta go with Booster. You gotta go with Booster.
But not well. Booster, I don't think does it anymore for fame or money.
No, I don't think he does it. He doesn't do it anymore for fame and money. So
yeah, I was gonna say because those characters like those, you know, some of them are just mercenaries. Like I don't really consider Deadpool a hero or a villain. He just kind of does things just to get paid, like Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll do this, but if you ain't gonna pay me, don't come to me.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely that. Wade, that's one crazy mofo right there. So he's in a category all by his own. Taskmaster, same thing. But even Spidey used to do it back in the days. You know, he tried to join the Fantastic Four, and he tried to join the Avengers. And what was the first thing after they said? Yeah, we would like you in. How much does it pay? You know, but in the sense of with Peter, he was trying to provide for his family. But wait, you know, you're a superhero. And you come up to you're trying to join a superhero team, and you say that, hey, so how much does it pay? You know, they're gonna look at you like, are you stupid or something? Like, what's wrong with you? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were done. But you know, the other type of hero we should talk about is the unintentional hero.
Unintentional heroes. Yeah. So hit it. You started it. Hit it.
The unintentional heroes, like, this is going to sound weird to both of you, but I consider Ryu an unintentional hero. He doesn't do it for, you know, the good. He does it for a good fight.
You said Reed?
Yeah, Ryu.
Oh, Ryu. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ryu. Yeah.
Ryu is another good example. Let's take Ryu, for example. Ryu walks that path of a true warrior. He feels that if a fight, and let me throw Terry Bogard in there as well. Here's two characters that don't do it for money. They don't do it. They do it to progress. Get as long because they Terry's one of his friends, Joe Higashi, said, you're a good fighter, Terry. You should go pro. And Terry said, you know what, that's nice, but I don't see myself fighting for money. As long as the fight improves my strength